Hello friends, in this session I am going to give a general introduction about one of the constitutional authority, that is Comptroller and Auditor General of India. Very important from the exam point of view, but in this session I will just be giving you a general introduction about Comptroller and Auditor General, that is CAG, and in the subsequent session I will be talking in detail about the powers, duties and functions of the CAG, and thereafter we will also do an analytical discussion. But first thing first, you need to know in general the Comptroller and Auditor General of India, which is popular in the name of CAG. Friends, when Dr. B.R. Ambedkar, who is regarded as the father of Indian Constitution, inside Constituent Assembly was asked question about CAG or Comptroller and Auditor General of India, and Dr. Ambedkar said that in his opinion the dignity or the officer who is probably the most important officer in the Constitution of India is none other than CAG. This much important is this office of CAG. So we are going to discuss general provisions related with CAG first before we go into the detailed discussion about the duties, powers and functions of the CAG. First thing I would just like you all to remember, right? First thing what I would just like you all to remember, that within the scheme of Indian Constitution, right? Within the scheme of Indian Constitution, in part 5, chapter 5, provisions related with CAG you will find mentioned in article 148 to article 151. Okay. So article 148 to article 151 contains the provisions about CAG, Comptroller and Auditor General of India. And the first thing which I would just like you all to know about CAG, that Comptroller and Auditor General of India is an independent authority under Constitution. It is an independent authority under the Constitution of India. I would say that CAG is neither the part of executive nor the part of legislature and of course not the part of judiciary, but CAG through its functions helps legislature exercise a very effective financial control over executive, and this you will learn only when you will understand the duties of CAG, the functions of CAG and the powers of CAG, which we are going to discuss separately. But as of now, I want you all to remember this, that CAG is an independent authority under the Constitution of India. CAG is head of, the CAG is head of Indian Audit and Account Department, Indian Audit and Account Department, and chief guardian of, the most important thing what I would like to say, that the CAG is, CAG is chief guardian of public purse. And this you will understand again when you will understand the functions, powers, duties of CAG. But as of now, three things you need to remember about CAG: that CAG is an independent constitutional authority within the framework of Indian Constitution. Number two, CAG is the head of Indian Audit and Account Department. And number three, the CAG is the chief guardian of public purse. First thing you should remember, that CAG is appointed by the President under his warrant and seal. CAG is appointed by the President of India, and under the warrant. This is very, very important, right, that the CAG is appointed under the warrant and seal of the President of India. Warrant and seal of the President of India. What is the meaning that the CAG is appointed under warrant and seal of the President of India? Because this power of President cannot be delegated to any subordinate officer. You must be aware that while we were talking about the executive powers of the President, I told you that all executive powers of Union is vested in the hands of President, and President of India has been given the option to exercise those powers either on his own or through any officer subordinate to him. But as far as the appointment of CAG is concerned, President of India cannot delegate this power of appointment of CAG to any subordinate officer of him. That is, the CAG is to be appointed by the President under warrant and seal of the President. And I would just like you all to know that there are many provisions within the Constitution of India just to safeguard the independence of CAG. And I will be talking about those provisions through which you can also logically conclude that yes, CAG is an independent constitutional authority under the framework of Indian Constitution. So I am just going to talk about the provisions which are there to safeguard. So I will be just talking about provisions, and these provisions, right, safeguarding the independence of CAG. Independence of CAG. Okay, so this is what we will talk. So first thing I told you, right, CAG is appointed by President. This is the most important thing, that the CAG is appointed by President, and I told you under the warrant and seal of the President. Warrant and seal of the President. Second important thing what you should remember, that CAG is appointed by the President and will have tenure of, right, CAG has been given the tenure, right, CAG has been given the tenure of 6 years. CAG has been given the tenure of 6 years or 65 years of age, and whichever is earlier, whichever is earlier. Okay. So, after appointment, the CAG can be in his or her office for a period of 6 years. And before 6 years, if the office bearer is completing the term age of 65 years, then that day itself CAG will retire. So, tenure of CAG is 6 years or 65 years of age, whichever is earlier. And there is a very strong constitutional safeguard of tenure for CAG. And you know what is that safeguard? Before the completion of tenure, CAG can only be removed by the President on same ground and in similar manner as the Judge of Supreme Court. And I hope you know very well that judges of Supreme Court can only be removed for proven misbehavior and incapacity, and there is a process in which a resolution is to be passed by both houses of parliament separately with a special majority, and during that process there will be the probe of charges which are framed against the judge concerned of the Supreme Court of India. So, the process is very, very tough. So, very strong is the safeguard of tenure. So, a strong safeguard of tenure. A strong safeguard of tenure. How? There is a very strong safeguard of tenure. Before completion of tenure, the CAG can only be removed, on same ground and similar manner as Judge of Supreme Court. Very strong is this safeguard, because till date we have not been successful in removing even a single judge of Supreme Court of India. Though on some occasion we initiated the process of removal, but before the completion of removal, the judge concerned decided to resign, and this is the reason why till date in India we have not been able to remove any judge of Supreme Court. So, very strong is the safeguard of tenure given to the CAG, Comptroller and Auditor General of India, and that safeguard is in terms of CAG before the completion of tenure can only be removed on similar grounds and in the same manner as the Judge of Supreme Court. Not only this, right? Not only this, you just see second, another important safeguard, right? Another important safeguard, his salary and other service conditions, cannot be varied to his disadvantage after appointment. This is very, very important provision. Very important provision. Once appointed, then after the appointment, the salary and any other service conditions cannot be varied to his disadvantage. Meaning, his salary can be increased, but it cannot be decreased. any of other service condition, there can be improvement in the conditions, there can be betterment in the conditions, but you cannot do anything which is disadvantage to him or her. So, very, very important provision that the salary and other service conditions of the CAG cannot be varied to his disadvantage after appointment. Not only this, right, not only this, once CAG will demit the office, retire, complete the tenure. So, after demitting the office, the CAG is not eligible to hold any office in government of India or in government of state. Okay. So, very important, right, very important that CAG is not eligible to hold any office, to hold any office, to hold any office either under Government of India or any state, any state, once he retires, and not only retires, but even if he resigns. Okay. So, not eligible, he cannot be made minister, okay, like that. So, very, very important, like very, very important that once the CAG will demit the office, then he is not eligible to be appointed as the officer in Government of India or officer in any state government. So, government appointment can, and mind you, right, that CAG can be appointed as governor, that is a constitutional office, that's not the officer under government. Okay. So, this is something which you should remember, that person is not eligible to be appointed to Government of India or government of any state, right, government of any state. And another important, right, another important I would say safeguard, if you ask me, that his administrative powers, his administrative powers, his administrative powers and conditions of, right, and conditions of service, conditions of service in Indian conditions of service of person, officers who are serving in Indian Audit and Accounts Department are prescribed by President only after consulting him. Only after consulting him. This is very important. So, if President has to prescribe any administrative power for CAG, or if President has to prescribe administrative powers and conditions of service of those personnel or officers who are working in Indian Audit and Account Department, this can only be done by the President in consultation with the CAG. If President is in favor of bringing changes in the service conditions of officers in Indian Audit and Account Department, that President of India can do only in consultation with CAG. Okay. So, there are so many provisions to ensure independent functioning of CAG. All these provisions are with one intention. And what is the intention? The intention is that the office bearer must discharge the functions without fear and without favor. And obviously, if his salary cannot be varied to his disadvantage, if he cannot be removed so easily from the office, even after retirement or resignation, if he is not eligible to be appointed in any government, then definitely the office bearer will have a natural bend of mind to discharge functions in a transparent manner, in a fair manner, without fear or favor. So, I want you all to remember this, that CAG is an important constitutional office under the framework of Indian Constitution, and the most important thing, that CAG is the guardian of public purse, and we will see how CAG is the guardian of public purse only when we will understand in detail the duties of CAG, the powers and the functions of CAG.